idea, I think until the last minute, that Jose Benavidez was fighting on his brother's card. Let me say this, man. I was getting a little worried because this thing with the brothers fighting on the same cards, man. Sometimes that can have disastrous results. We saw when Jermell Charlo and Jamal had the same fight card. Jamal was fighting Matt Korobov, and you had Jermell Charlo fighting Tony Harrison. And you see what happened with Tony Harrison. He beat Jermell on that card, and then Jamal was having issues with Matt Korobov. Damn near lost. You know what I'm saying? So I was a little concerned. I'm like, all right, look at Jose Benavidez. He been out of the ring since Crawford fight was 3 years ago, and he finally making his ring return. And he was looking rusty, man. They was putting him in there with this Torres guy, Francisco Torres, who was somebody that really had much power, but he was very skillful, man. And here we go again with these fights where you don't expect it to go one way, and then this is one of those fights, just like with Sandor Martin and Mikey Garcia. But I can give Jose Benavidez more of a pass because he's been out of the ring for 3 years. What was Mikey's excuse? But the entire fight, Jose Benavidez, man, he was trying to really give it a. He was trying to KO the dude too much, man. He wasn't really working on his skill much, man. He was just trying to knock him out, get him up out of there. It wasn't working. The dude was too skillful, too crafty. He didn't have the power, but he still was giving Jose many problems. He was piecing him up, man. Even without the power, he still was piecing him up, and he won the fight. And I keep telling people, power doesn't always. Having the power doesn't mean you're going to always win a fight. You can be a person that's not known for power and still win. You just got to have know when to plant your feet like he was doing, and you got to know when to get up out of the line of fire, and you got to also have a bit of grit, and that's what this guy had. You can't be a pot shotter and not have the heart and the grit to stand there and fight. It's not going to win you fights, man. So just because you have power, you got to have the will power. You have to have the heart with the power, with the boxing skill. You gotta be able to know when it's time to get in and out. That's the key, man. And this kid right here, Francisco Torres, I never heard of him until last night, but he came there to win, man, and that's what he did. And it ended up being a draw. I disagree with that. The kid clearly won that fight. He clearly won. But you see, this is the thing with boxing, man, that he got the nod. That first judge I'm like, what are you talking about? They had it for Jose Benavidez. And I'm like, okay, they fighting in his hometown, so somebody's going to give him the nod. But the kid, damn near, I'm surprised he didn't lose on the cards. I was waiting for that to come through. I was like, oh my God, they're going to rob this guy. And they still robbed him, though, even though if it was a draw. Still robbed him. Man. Didn't want to give Jose that loss in his own town. Robbed him. That was clear robbery, even if it was a draw. And then Jose Benavidez, he comes out and says he thought he won the fight. The guy kept running. So, no, man. You lost, bro. You lost. Take your loss like a man. You lost. You talking about he was running, bro. You got to have skill enough to catch the guy. It's not his fault that he was deciding to box. He chose to box. You have to have enough skill to be able to get in there and catch him and do your thing. Just because you couldn't catch him, stop calling it running, man. I hate when dudes, they call it running because the dude was moving around. He wasn't running. He was beating your ass the whole fight. He was not running. He was moving. There's a difference. If he was running, that would mean he wasn't hitting you. He was hitting you. And he was planting his feet. You know who was running? Caleb Plant. That's who I think was running. And that was running. Because he never sat down on his punches. He didn't commit. This kid right here was committing. He stood there, pop, 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 pop. He didn't run. He just moved a lot. And that was what you didn't like. You would have he said he would have got the KO if the kid wasn't running. No, you wouldn't have. You wanted him to stand there and be a punching bag so you could knock him out. That's not boxing, man. That's not boxing. You can't be mad at the opponent because he got better movement than you. Learn some movement. Learn how to cut the ring off against movers, and then maybe you'll have some success. Blame yourself. Don't blame the opponent. But anyway, nonetheless, good fight for that guy, man. For he got robbed, clearly. Good fight for Francisco Torres. Jose Benavidez, he might have to get some more fights in or just retire. I'm not really sure. He's not gonna look like David Benavidez at all. I don't think he's ever gonna get to that level. Could be wrong. This is his second loss. We'll see. I just don't see it. I don't. But anyway, drop a comment, like, and subscribe. Catch y'all later on the next one. Peace.